Guess who's back? Guess who's back? That's right, baby. Back in studio today. Welcome into the Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I am the host of the Locker Room. My name is Namath Pitts. And again, we're right here in the Calhoun County area of East Alabama. And the Locker Room covers all local sports in East Alabama, in Calhoun and Cleburne County, also covering the Etowah County. And you can get all the local action right here on East Alabama Now's The Locker Room. I've been working from home the past couple days, dealing with a little bit of a stomach bug, a virus, as the doctor, a.k.a. said. But either way, we're still fighting on as we continue on throughout the week. And today we are going to have our East Alabama. This is the first time we've ever done this, the first time we've ever released this. It's the East Alabama Now Wrestling Rankings. We're going to have rankings for Class 1A through 4A, rankings for Class 5A, rankings for Class 6A, and then we're going to have our team rankings for each one. Now, I created these rankings. So if you have a problem with these rankings, come to me, okay? So if you have problems, just keep them to yourself, truthfully. But I created these rankings myself, and I created them based off a couple criteria. But before I tell you about the criteria, I want to remind you to follow and like our East Alabama Now page so you don't miss the Locker Room. We're here each weekday at 5 p.m., and we also broadcast live wrestling, quads, tries. We broadcast tournaments, and we will be at Weaver High School this Saturday broadcasting the Gene Taylor Memorial Tournament from Weaver. So don't forget to like and follow East Alabama Now. Also, EAN News. If you're not familiar with EAN News, it's a local newscast every night. EAN News. That's right. Mike Stedham and Katie Edwards bring you all of your local news. John Holder has your local weather on your street, and I bring you local sports scores. I can tell you, no one is giving you scores like we are on EAN News. And then, of course, previewing all of our matchups. Same for wrestling. We give you dual scores, tournament results, and then we preview all of the wrestling for the week and each night during the week. So that's it for that. Now, East Alabama Now's rankings. How did I come up with these rankings? Well, the first thing I did, guys, to be honest with you, is I went to last year's state tournament. Did a guy place? I took the top 6 placers. If they placed first, obviously they went number 1, 2nd, 2, and so forth. And then if it was a senior, obviously I left them out. So did a guy place at state last year? Yes. Okay, I put them down. Then I go to track wrestling. I look at the point of this season. Where is the guy wrestling at right now? Okay, he might have been 106 last year, but he's wrestling 132 right now. He's been wrestling 132, so I put him in as he's a 132 right now. Then I go based on record right now to this point in the season. We're only a couple weeks in, but how is the guy doing? For instance, if a guy's 14-0, obviously he's got a 100% win percentage, and I take win percentage. If I have guys that are in similar weight classes, I go and look at head-to-head this year. Head-to-head last year is not a factor. Now, obviously, if a guy finished first at state as a state champion, I have him higher up. Of course, if a guy finished runner-up, you may go, well, this guy's undefeated to this point. Well, this guy was a state champion a year ago. Maybe his losses were to a guy in a different weight class or a guy in a completely different classification. So there's a lot of factors that went into my rankings. And then personally, I might have just put a guy above a guy because I saw them wrestle this weekend. And a guy, again, I just maybe look like a better wrestler to me is kind of, I don't want to say the eye test, but so again, criteria is, was a state placer last year. Criteria is win-loss percentage right now. Head-to-head points from last year factored into this year. I used a computer system for winning percentage. And again, if they have not wrestled this year, okay, but obviously they're a state placer from last year, but they have not wrestled this year. First thing I went to do was check to see, did they certify? Okay, yes, he's certified, therefore he is wrestling this year. Okay, if he hasn't wrestled yet, what weight did he certify at? So for instance, it may say that right now he's 138. Well, obviously he may go down to 32 or 26, but right now he's certified at 38. He has not wrestled, therefore his certification weight is 138. So I threw them in at 138. Now, if a guy had not wrestled, I tried to really leave them back. Now, you may go, well, that guy's a state runner-up, state champion. Yeah, but he has not wrestled yet. Therefore, I'm maybe throwing him in at 3, could be 4, because it's based off right now. This is not based off last year. This isn't a preseason poll. This is a ranking based off what has happened to this point over 2 weeks. Same thing with team points. You're going to be surprised by my team results, but I think it's the right ones that I came up with, and that is why I did what I did. So let's go ahead and get straight into the rankings, and I'll break all this down for you. Let's start in Class 1A through 4A with the 106-pound weight class. At 106 pounds, Right now, here's what I did with my rankings. We have Miles Bailey from Piedmont at number 1. Now, there's the reason I put Miles Bailey at number 1 is he's currently undefeated on the season. He's got he's undefeated on the season. He's got experience from last season as well. So Miles Bailey from Piedmont is my number 1 right now in the 106-pound weight class. Number 2 is Micah Woodman of Oak Grove. He just finished as a champion this past week at the Lamar Wade Memorial. And again, that's in 1A through 4A. Micah Woodman is number 2. Number 3, he has not wrestled a lot, but I still threw him in at number 3 because I feel like he's at least the third best 106 in the state right now. So this was a little bit based off last year, a little bit of the eye test. But Kel Fulmer from Weaver is number 3. Again, I felt like at this point, he's only wrestled 2 matches, but I felt like he was at least a top 3 wrestler in the state, so I put Kel Fulmer at number 3. Number 4 is Jacob Biggers from Cleburne County, and number 5 is Jaden Garson of Fultondale, the Bobcats. All right, 113. We're going to look at the 113-pound weight class now, and I'm going to break these down for you guys as well. So let's go back to 113. Obviously, number 1 is David Hill. He's a defending state champion from Oak Grove. There's really not a surprise here. He was a pretty easy choice when it came to number 1. And you see me in the corner. If I'm looking down, I'm looking at track wrestling just to kind of help you guys break this down for you. Number 2 is Tristan Garrett of Sachs. So David Hill actually has the head-to-head on Tristan Garrett. Again, David Hill is defending state champion. He has head-to-head over Tristan Garrett. Pretty easy right there at 1 and 2. Number 3 is Jalen Gunn of Deschler, and 4 is Roman Coker of Corner. Again, head-to-head was a factor here. Jalen Gunn defeated Roman Coker this weekend head-to-head. Jalen Gunn comes in at number 3. Roman Coker is number 4. Now, number 5 is Noah Raines of St. James. He has not wrestled yet, but again, I took based off where he finished last year, based off of kind of the eye test. I've seen Noah Raines wrestle, and knowing St. James, I put him in at number 5. So that is my 1 through 5 for the 113-pound weight class. And 113 and 106 are in the books, so let's keep moving forward. Let's talk 120 and 126. That's the next 2 weight classes. 120, ranked number 1 in the state right now, is Mason Hom of White Plains. He is defending state runner-up, but he is arguably the best, without a question, right now at 120. I actually might have threw a bit of a surprise in here to some of you, but I went Hayden Heiss at number 2 from Weaver. Hayden Heiss actually had 2 upsets this past weekend. He has the head-to-head over Aiden Sumner, who's number 4. And so Hayden Heiss is one of his few 2 losses right there are to both to Mason Hom. So Hayden Heiss has been really good up to this point in the season. And so I felt like Hayden Heiss was the second best guy in the state right now at 120. Benjamin Santee is number 3 from St. John Paul II. Again, state placer last year. Obviously, perfection up to this point in the season. Benjamin Santee's 3. Aiden Sumner's 4 and Cameron Sharp's 5. How did I break these 2 down? Sumner finished higher last year, and I felt like Sumner was the better wrestler at this point than Sharp of New Hope. So that's what came to the conclusion of Aiden Sumner at 4 and Cameron Sharp at 5 in 120. 126, Jaden Rouse is number 1. Now, he has not wrestled yet this season. The rumor is, I don't know the trueness behind this, but the rumor is he's still working to recertify to try to get lower in terms of weight. But right now, he is certified at 126. Now, Jaden Rouse is the defending state champion at 120. He beat Mason Hom in the finals last year. Hom beat him at sectionals. They went 1-1, but Rouse got the last laugh, winning at state. Rouse has not wrestled, but again, I just feel like out of those 126, he is better. He's clearly the best at 126, and so I put Rouse at number 1. Number 2 is Tanner Gerald. He's flopped from 20, 26, 13. But Hom is the starter at 120. Gerald's not the starter at 120. So he's at 26 currently. He's the defending state champion at 113. But he has a loss to Hayden Heiss, who's second in 120. And again, so that's really kind of what put him behind Rouse, on top of Rouse being a state champ. But Tanner Gerald is second. Adrian Wall is third. Again, Gerald's a defending state champion. Wall is not. They were in the same weight class a year ago. Gerald finished higher. So that was obviously my factor early in the season. Gerald's only got 1 imperfection, and it was to Hayden Heiss, who's number 2 in 120. And then number 4 is Dalton Fink. Again, looking at factors from last year. Fink, though, a state placer. And then Drake Wood as well with Real Town, a state placer. And that is my 1 through 5 for the 126-pound weight class. All right, so 106, 113, 120, 126 are in the books. Let's keep moving forward with our 1A through 4A rankings. Let's go to 132 and 138. So 132, Jackson Tuolasega of Ohatchee is number 1, and he is obviously my number 1 right there. He won the tournament, or didn't win the tournament. He's the only previous state placer out of those 5, and that's what put him at number 1. Bryson Robbins is 2, Curtis Souls is 3. Robbins has the head-to-head on Souls. Bronson Bell is 4, and then Skylar Cooper of Madison County comes in at number 5. Looking at 138, I went with Fisher Deason at 1, undefeated up to this point in the season, defending state placer. Nathan Cox as well at number 2. Again, Deason, though, his win percentage right now has him at number 1. And then Barron House, Braden Corley, and Briley Carter. Corley and Carter have not wrestled up to this point in the season yet, but defending state placers. And so that's how they got in at 4-5. And number 3 is Barron House. Again, Briley Carter has not wrestled, but he's certified at 138. Same with Corley, and that's what has them at the 138-pound weight class. All right, let's talk 144 and 150. Again, 144, he has not wrestled yet, but eye test. I think Logan Hartson's the best 144 in the state right now. He's certified at 144, and that's what's got him at number 1. Damian Winfrey's undefeated. He's number 2, defending, again, state placer last year. So I felt like Damian Winfrey was the second best 144 in the state right now. Then you've got Drew Moore at number 3, Bryson Millwood at 4, and Noah Screws at 5. Moore has the head-to-head on Millwood, and Millwood has the head-to-head on Screws, and that is how I came up with 3, 4, and 5. And number 150, or class 150, I've said a couple times, I really believe Austin Mayfield's a state champion this year. But as of right now, he's a state runner-up. Jack Von Eschenbach is a state champion. And so St. John Paul's the second. Jack Von Eschenbach is number 1 right now at 150. Again, I apologize if I butcher any names in these rankings, any mispronunciation. But Jack Von Eschenbach is 1 because he's a defending state champion. He's undefeated on the season. Mayfield's a runner-up, but also undefeated on the season. That puts him at number 2. And then Gianluca Torres is 3 from Weaver. And then Jay Cuff, again, a lot of these St. James wrestlers, based on how they finished last year, where they certified, and then eye test, and that puts them in at number 4. I tried to pick what I think, you may not agree, but what I think is, kind of go take a college football jab here, the best 5 wrestlers at every weight class right now. Who do I think are the best 5 wrestlers? Not the most deserving, who I think is the best 5. You may not agree with them, but that's why they're my rankings. They're East Alabama Now's rankings. Jay Cuff is 4, Brody Puh is number 5 from Prattville Christian. All right, let's talk 157 and 165. 157, number 1 is David Herrick, again, defending state champion. He has not wrestled yet, but he's a defending state champion. And so that is what has him at number 1. All right, number 2 is Nick Williamson. He's undefeated on the season, and he looked good this weekend. Elijah Thomas is a state placer. He's at number 3 from Escambia County. Deshaun Kirby Barnes, again, a state placer from a year ago. He's in right there at number 4. And then Spencer Perkins of Prattville Christian is number 5. 165, Caden Thornton right now is a state placer from a year ago. He's number 1. Caleb Hayer from Bayshore Academy is 2. Drew Adams is 3. Caleb Tidwell is number 4. And then Curtis Daniels 5. Again, a lot of those guys were state placers from a year ago. But right now, Caden Thornton is perfected his season to this point. He is number 1 at 165 for Weaver. Let's move to 175 and 190. A lot of these are head-to-head. 175 is Zach Buchanan at number 1. He has the head-to-head over Tyler Ebner. He won this weekend, so that puts Tyler Ebner at 2. Ryan Parker is 3. Jacob Blanchard is 4. And then Brennan Yaman, if I said that wrong, I apologize, from Bayside Academy is number 5 in my Class 1A through 4A rankings. 190, again, head-to-head. Both guys successful last year, made it to state. But Cameron Richardson has the head-to-head over Brady Thrash, just barely, but he does. That was an overtime match that Cameron Richardson won. And so Cameron Richardson from Dora is number 1. Brady Thrash is number 2. And then 3 is Leighton Pohl from New Hope. 4 is Ross Mills, and he has the head-to-head over Hunter Heiss of Weaver. So Ross Mills is 4, Hunter Heiss is 5. Takes us to our last 2 weight classes in 1A through 4A. Number 1 is Noah Breland from Bayside Academy. Number 2 is Brandon Joliffe from Weaver. 3 is Devin Bragg from Reeltown. 4 is Jaden Smitherman of New Hope. And he has not wrestled yet, but again, based off last season, he's certified based on the eye test. Jalen Helms is number 5 at 215. And then at heavyweight, Aiden Cockrell and Logan Joyner, both state placers at 285 last year. The reason I put Andrew Salter at 3 is he does have a loss this year already to Dalton Thomas of Piedmont, who is not ranked, but also the weight difference between Cockrell and Joyner versus Salter, I think is certainly something you need to keep an eye on. But Salter is 3. He has the head-to-head on Jordan McKinney of Corner, who's 4, and Connor Crump is number 5. And that is our individual rankings for Class 1A through 4A. Before we go to the break, though, we still do have our team rankings, and you may be surprised by my team rankings because I did what I felt like was the best 5 teams right now, not duel-wise, but tournament-wise. So individually in tournaments, how would they do? Not duels. This is team rankings based on February individual state. I know I'm going to get some backlash for this, but I'm going to go straight in with my top 5. Here they are. And I think this is the top 5 teams right now in Class 1A through 4A. Number 5 is Coach Jake Mayfield in the Cleveland County Tigers. Now, they are undefeated in duel tournaments, or in duels, I should say. They're undefeated in duels. But the reason they're at 5 is because they were behind all of these teams Saturday. Now, it's only the first tournament of the year. Guys are at not the right weight classes. But right now, this is right now, 1 through 5, Cleveland County is 5. Right now, Asheville is 4. I think Asheville, again, not duels, but individual. They finished behind these other 3 teams this weekend, and I think these are the best 5 teams, seriously, that were there this weekend. I know Dora's without Rouse, still figuring some things out there. But again, this is right now. Right now, Asheville's number 4. And I'll tell you right now, these 2 teams right here, they're not getting any respect, and I don't know why. And I seriously think that these 2 right here are going to make some noise this year. And the first one is Corner. Corner is 3. They finished behind Oak Grove and Weaver this past weekend. But I got to tell you, I was surprised by 2 teams that I saw this weekend. And the first one was Oak Grove, and the second one was Corner. So Corner's head coach has done an exceptional job at Corner. And then obviously Oak Grove as well. Coach Birchfield at Oak Grove building something that's going to be great. So Corner's 3. Oak Grove's 2. Coach Birchfield, you got to keep an eye on the Oak Grove Tigers. I'm telling you guys, they're a serious threat this year. And then number 1 is obviously Coach Andy Fulmer and the Weaver Bearcats, who are back-to-back state champions and won their tournament this weekend in front of all the other teams. All right, we got to take a break, though. When we come back, we will talk Class 5A rankings. We only have one local team in Class 5A, which is Alexandria, but I've still got all the rankings and a whole lot more. Don't go away. You're watching The Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
Welcome to Room by Room Home Furnishings, a locally owned and operated furniture store located in Oxford, Alabama. We've been serving Northeast Alabama and the surrounding area since 2007. We offer stylish and affordable new arrivals and all the top trends to help you get a cozy and homey atmosphere with hand-picked home furnishings and decor to fit anybody's style and budget with knowledge, personality, and good vibes. Let Room by Room in Oxford, Alabama help you score amazing deals and turn your house into a home.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your flooring needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston and you can pick out what you like, want, and need, and they can do that there at Ted's. Also, they've got their partnership with Weldon Cabinet and will offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond. And now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. Go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School, or visit them online at shopteds.com. That is shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room. We continue on in the locker room talking Alabama wrestling rankings, our East Alabama Now rankings for all classifications. We talked 1A through 4A, so let's get right into 5A. Let's not waste any time. Let's go to 106 and 113. In 106, it is Thomas Patterson of Tallahassee at number 1. Abel Brantley of Gulf Shores is 2. Gage Staton of Scottsboro is 3. Jeremy Lambert is 4. And Brylan Bright is 5 of East Limestone. 113, number 1 is Colby Silva of Arab. Number 2 is Mason Nelson of Tallahassee. Number 3 is Reese Coulter of Gulf Shores. And number 4 is Thomas Norris of Southside Gadsden. And number 5 is Sean Bianca of Leeds. That is 106 and 113. Let's move to 120 and 126. 120 is Raymond or Ramon, I apologize if I pronounced it wrong, Lozada of Tallahassee, who is number 1. Cortez Samuels of Jasper is 2. Cole Snyder of Scottsboro is 3. Fabian Kierce of Lincoln is 4. And Hayden Cook of Gulf Shores is 5. Number 126, number 1 is Stone Staton of Scottsboro. Number 2 is Carson Poe of Moody. Number 3 is Ephraim Ormastone of Southside Gadsden. Harley Briscoe of Hayden is 4. And Jackson Ivy of Arab is number 5. Again, I apologize if I pronounce any names wrong. 132. All right, this is where I could see some people having some controversy. So let me break down 132. I've got Preston Jones 1, Nick Sykes of Shelby County 2. Nick Sykes beat Preston Jones last year head-to-head in the state finals. But Sykes has a loss this season. Jones does not. I've seen Jones wrestle in person. I think he's on a mission. I think he's going to win it this year, even if he's in a rematch with Sykes. So I went Preston Jones 1 right now. I know Sykes beat him in the state championship last year, but these rankings are not fully based on last year. They're right now. I think right now Preston Jones is number 1 at 132, and Nick Sykes is 2 at 132. Number 3 is Antonio Nash of Jasper. Number 4 is Hudson Best of Hayden, and number 5 is Roman McWilliams of Tallahassee. At 138, John Stewart of Scottsboro is number 1. Cooper Brooks of Jasper is 2. Noah Guthrie of Gulf Shores is 3. Hayden Graham of Southside is 4. And Avery Brantley of Tallahassee is 5. And that takes us to the 144-pound weight class. And at number 1, it is Lan Bell of Tallahassee. Number 2 is Taylor Cheek of Gulf Shores. I know I'm going to say this name wrong. Number 3 is Josh Draskothic. Totally said that wrong. But he's number 3 from Scottsboro, and I apologize, Josh, for mispronouncing your name. Stephen Nelson of Hayden is 4, and Caden Deline is number 5 from Alexandria. At 150, again, how about Tallahassee? Woo, you're seeing a lot of the same logos on each ranking. Number 1 and 150 is Ethan Jones of Tallahassee. Number 2 is Tyler Payton of Elmore County. Number 3 is Charles Knight of Gulf Shores. Number 4 is Peyton Adams of Southside Gadsden. And number 5 is Tanner Vadoshia of Hayden. That is your 150 rankings. 157, Aiden Goggins of Scottsboro is number 1. Skylar Gomer of Moody's number 2. Garrett Codwell of Jasper is number 3. Cotton Crowell of Gulf Shores is 4. And Tramel McCoy of Tallahassee is 5. At 165, it's Ansel Goggins at number 1. Christian McCary of Tallahassee is 2. Logan Silva of Arab is 3. Alexander Shook of Shelby County is 4. And Isaac O'Rear of Hayden is number 5. That is 165. 175, Cole Sykes is number 1 of Shelby County. Carter Reed is 2 of Jasper. 3 is Weston Reed of Gulf Shores. 4 is Porter Mitchum of Scottsboro. And number 5 is Aiden Christopher of Alexandria. At 190, it's Hunter Scott of Leeds at number 1. Grant McGill of Hayden, number 2. Rhett Walters of Lincoln is number 3. Nolan, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Nolan Adio of Tallahassee is 4. And then Nicholas Salgado of Southside Gadsden is number 5. Last two weight classes in Class 5A. And number 1 in 215 is Cole Carter of Jasper. Number 2 in 215 is Landon Everett of Gulf Shores. Number 3 is Keith Castleberry of Shelby County. Now, you see a little bit of a different logo here. This is Springville, the Tigers. Landon McKendry of Springville is number 4. And then you see Tallahassee right there with Jude Rogers at number 5. And then the heavyweights, 285. You also haven't seen this logo yet. That is Alberta. Jaden Hill of Alberta is number 1. Alberta. Christopher Irely of Elmore County is 2. Logan Hall of Moody is 3. Sam Shepker is 4 of Gulf Shores. And number 5 is Antoine Dubose of East Limestone. So that is all of your individual rankings for Class 5A. Again, we had a very, very long segment 1, so I tried to make it a little bit quicker. You've heard the criteria. I've explained it to you. That's what I come up with. I know that controversy is going to be Sykes and Preston Jones, but again, I went on this year. Sykes has a loss. Preston Jones is undefeated. Put him in front of him. That's what I got right now. Let's talk team rankings for Class 5A. Let's look at my top 5 for teams. Coming in at number 5, the Hayden Wildcats. Really good program right there. The Wildcats coming in at number 5. Number 4 is the Jasper Vikings. They're right there at number 4. 3 is Gulf Shores. They haven't, full team isn't there yet due to football, but the Dolphins are 3. Number 2 is Coach Chris Staton in the Scottsboro Wildcats. You've seen a lot of them. Scottsboro had in a couple different rankings. They had Stone Staton at number 1 in 126, John Stewart at number 1 in 138, Aiden Goggins number 1 at 157, Ansel Goggins number 1 in 165. So Scottsboro had a few. And then number 1 in Class 5A is John Mask in the Tallahassee Tigers. They had Thomas Patterson at number 1 at 106, Ramon Lozada number 1 at 120, Land Bell number 1 at 144, Ethan Jones number 1 at 150. They had a lot of guys at number 1 as well. So I got Tallahassee Tigers 1, Scottsboro 2, Gulf Shores 3, Jasper 4, and Hayden number 5. That is my team rankings for Class 5A for East Alabama now. And we are going to take a break. When we come back, we will have Class 6A. Don't go away. You're watching The Locker Room.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today. For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
The Locker Room continues on this Wednesday afternoon. We are talking East Alabama Now's rankings for wrestling here in the state of Alabama. And we move to Class 6A. Now, there's only one local team right here for us in Class 6A, and it's the Oxford Yellow Jackets. But I tried to rank the best in 6A based off my computer criteria that I use from last year, this year, up to this point, guys that are predicted to have big seasons. And I can tell you right now, based on these 6A names that I came up with, I'm going to miss a lot of names on pronunciation. But let's get right into it. Let's start with Class 106. In 6A, it is Crew Powell of Gardendale Rockets is number 1. Barrett Bridgman of Homewood is number 2. Wyatt Chavez of Mountain Brook is 3. Trent Ledlow of Pell City is 4. And Buckhorn's Caleb Berry is number 5. In 113, it is Justin Harbin of Brookwood at number 1. Drake Craig of Athens is number 2. Bobby Rutkoff of Mountain Brook is 3. Tristan Buckaloo of Gardendale is 4. And Wyatt Hubley of Pell City is number 5. 120, it's Joseph Markham of Homewood at number 1. Caleb Wright of Mortimer Jordan at number 2. John Duncan of Pike Road at 3. Trey Peeler of Pelham, number 4. And Lakin Puff of Athens is number 5. 126 was pretty easy at number 1. It is Brody Christmas of Mortimer Jordan. Number 2 is Stephen Springfield of Mountain Brook. Number 3 is Tucker Burkhead of Fort Payne. 4 is Kenyon Clements at Helena. How about the Huskies of Helena, led by a former Calhoun County wrestler of Weaver, Nick Souter. He is the head coach at Helena. And the Huskies, Kenyon Clements, is number 4 at 126. Number 5 is Caleb Robinson of Wetumpka. I love Wetumpka. My grandmother used to live there. Used to love traveling there to see the Indians. All right, let's move forward to 132. It is Mason, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Mason Almansub of Homewood is number 1. Jacob Dosher of Hartsel is 2. Joaquin Crook of Baldwin County is number 3. Davis Smith of Mountain Brook is number 4. And Oxford's James Cade Sprung is number 5 at 132. At 138, it is, again, pretty easy choice for me. At number 1, Will Anderson of Athens. 2 is Noah Smith of Wetumpka. 3 is DeMarcus Powell of Gardendale. 4 is Robert Tucker of Clay Chalkville. And 5 is Buddy Ketchum. Now, I will say DeMarcus Powell, Noah Smith, and Will Anderson, I feel like you could put any of those at number 1, truthfully. But again, Will Anderson, I went with Will Anderson at number 1. 144 is Lincoln Bryant of Hartsel at number 1. James Mays of Buckhorn at number 2. Bobby Chamorro of Homewood is 3. Myers Duncan of Pike Road is 4. And Carter Blalock of Fort Payne is 5. At 150, it's Cruz Rainwater of Mortimer Jordan at 1. Thomas Pearson at Pelham is number 2. C.J. Mickle is at number 3 right there. He is from McAdory. 4 is Garrett Willingham of Hartsel. And number 5 is Owen Ellich of Russell County. 157, it's Cody Kirk of Pike Road at 1. Austin Campbell of Athens at 2. Christian Sills of Stanhope Elmore at 3. James McFadden of Spanish Fort is 4. And then Aaliyah Vickery is 5 from Baldwin County. 165, Deshaun Powell is number 1. This was an easy one for me. Jude Smith of Mountain Brook is 2. Hayden Davis of Fort Payne is 3. And Jude Smith from Mountain Brook. Hayden Davis from Fort Payne. Gage Onby of Hartsel. And then Fernando Trejo of Homewood is number 5. 175, it's McAdory's Christian Griggs at number 1. Fort Payne's Parker Wilson is 2. Mae Jemison, led by another former, not Calhoun, but wrestler from Madison County. Shankles, everybody knows Shankles, state champion wrestler right there. He is leading the Mae Jemison Jaguars. And George Mullins is number 3 for them. 4 is Mason Hussey of Pike Road. And Blas Correa is 5 for Homewood. 190, it's Decatur's Oliver Howard at number 1. Wetumpka's Zach Crossthwaite is 2. Weston Tossey of Mortimer Jordan is 3. Sam Carroll is 4. Mountain Brook. And Hayden Eldridge of Homewood is number 5. 215, last two weight classes right here. 215 is Christian Preston of Wetumpka at 1. Jamison Falciani is number 2 from Hartsel. Malik Brown of Centerpoint is 3. Carter Colvin of Mountain Brook is 4. And Nicholas Brooks of Jackson Olin is number 5. At 285, it is Gage Bake Again, I apologize for mispronouncing these names. I'm from Welborn. My pronunciation's not the best. But I got Gage right there at number 1. Willie Cox of Wetumpka is 2. Oxford's Caleb Teener is number 3. 4 is William Courtenay of Mountain Brook. And number 5 is Cash Tatum of Pelham. That is your individual rankings for Class 6A, which I'll be honest with you is not my strength. I'm sure my 1A through 4A rankings are a lot better than 5A and 6A, just because that is kind of the most of the wrestling that we see here in East Alabama and Calhoun County is 1A through 4A. So I apologize for anything that you may disagree with, but again, that is why it's East Alabama Now's rankings. Now, I do have my team rankings for Class 6A, and so let's go ahead and look at those. Yep. You don't agree with me, but that's okay. Number 5 is the Hartsville Tigers. Number 4 is the Homewood Patriots. Homewood had quite a few wrestlers right there. Joseph Markham at 120 was one of our number ones. Moeen Almansub of 132 was number 1. So a couple Homewood guys right there. Gardendale, led by Brian Brasil, is number 3. The Rockets, again, they had Gage Beek. I give up. Either way, he's number 1 at 285. Deshaun Powell was number 1 at 165. So a couple Gardendale guys as well. Crew Powell at 106. Number 2 is the Mountain Brook Spartans. Yep, we talked about them as well. They had a really good team. They didn't have any number 1s in my rankings, but a lot of 2s and 3s. And then right there is Coach Joshua Pate in the Mortimer Jordan Blue Devils. They were preseason number 1 by SC Wrestling, Southeast Wrestling. For East Alabama Now, they're number 1 right now. Rightfully so, when you got guys like Cruz Rainwater, Brody Christmas, and a lot of 2, 3s, 4s mixed in there as well. Mortimer Jordan strong team. They're number 1 in Class 6A. That's my team rankings. That's all of our rankings. I didn't have time to get to the girls, so I apologize. I've got to go, guys. It's Wednesday. I got to go preach. It's church time. But other than that, come back tomorrow. We'll share the girls' rankings in Alabama and preview the rest of the slate for the weekend as the Super 7 gets started and a whole lot more. But hey, I got some kids that I'm blessed to disciple, so I'm going to go do that. But I love you guys. Hope you have a great Wednesday night. God bless. We'll see you later. We'll see you tomorrow. You're watching The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.